Welcome inside the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. Huskers news today. Congratulations to Jazz Shelley of Huskers women's basketball, who is partaking in the first ever NBA Student Athlete Summit. The event is currently being held in Las Vegas throughout this week. Jazz is one of 15 student athletes from across the country in attendance. The summit is a collection of panel discussions and networking opportunities hosted by professional sports organizations that include the NBA, UFC, and ESPN, among others. Jazz is representing both Nebraska and the Big Ten. Over to Nebraska softball, where incoming freshman Ashley Smetter was named a high school All-American last night. She, the infielder from Lincoln Southwest, made the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association third-team high school All-American team after hitting .493 in her senior season and winning her second state title with Lincoln Southwest. 2 Huskers programs earned praise for their academics today. 27 Huskers earned all-academic honors for the 2021-2022 season with both men's and women's track and field. And both teams in those programs won the All-Academic Team Award, and 8 Nebraska bowlers were named to the 2021-2022 All-Academic Scholars Team by the National 10-Pin Coaches Association. And finally, 4 Huskers will represent Nebraska in the Big Ten's inaugural Big Life Series event. This year's event is titled From Selma to Montgomery. There's Derek Walker from Huskers Men's Hoops, Sadio Fenner, and Michaelon Moore of Huskers men's track and field, and Executive Associate Athletic Director and former guest on this show, Senior Woman Administrator Marquita Armstead, will be 4 of 100 athletics personnel from the Big Ten to make the trip from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, to learn about the civil rights history that took place there this weekend. Over to pro sports tonight in the major leagues. Just a couple of games currently underway, but earlier, a lot of finals. Mariners beat the Nationals 6-4. The Mets topped the Braves 7-3. The Twins beat the Brewers 4-1. The Royals topped the Tigers 5-2. And the Giants beat the Diamondbacks 4-3. Just about set to get underway are the Phillies and Blue Jays, as are the Red Sox and Rays. The White Sox and Guardians get going in about 5 minutes time. Current action, 2 scoreless games. The Mariners and Nationals in the top of the 5th. And the Pirates and Marlins are scoreless in the top of the 2nd. Later tonight, we'll see the Dodgers take on the Cardinals, the Orioles battle the Cubs, the Athletics take on the Rangers, the Padres battle the Rockies, and the Astros take on the Angels. In NBA Summer League action, Bryce McGowens was in action today as he finished up in Charlotte's win over Cleveland just a few minutes ago. Bryce was one of the stars offensively, scoring 24 points. That was tied for the lead in as far as both teams are concerned, and he went 7 from 10 from the floor, including 5 of 6 from deep. So a good game for Bryce this afternoon. And lastly, NHL free agency got underway today. Forward Johnny Gaudreau, formerly of the Calgary Flames, is expected to be amongst the highest, if not the highest paid player in the NHL, if and when he does sign with his new team. That has not happened yet, so we'll keep you posted just in case. The Colorado Avalanche lost a couple players today. A lot of Huskers fans out here I know who do pay attention to hockey are Avalanche fans, and they did say goodbye today to Darcy Kemper, who left for Washington, and winger Andrei Burakovsky, who signed with Seattle earlier this afternoon. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
In motion is Brewington. They snap it back, fake the handoff, looking to throw. They flip it out the flat to Brewington, makes a catch. Touchdown, Nebraska. Well, that looked easy that time. Brewington came in motion, and instead of cutting down the block, kept out the flat, flipped it out to him for an easy 6 points. And Treese now sends a man in motion. They turn, they flip it off to McDuffie, trying to race to the edge. Gets around JoJo Doma, but can't get around Nick Henrich. He'll go down. He'll lose 3 yards, back to the 23-yard line. What a play by Nebraska. It's caught. Touchdown. Omar Manning. What a grab in the end zone. And the Huskers have 6 more points.
What a throw and catch. Yes.
Nice jitterbug move, and it bounced the outside 40 to the 50-yard line, to the 40, 30-yard line, 20. That's Grant, 15, 10, 5. He's in there. Touchdown, Anthony Grant, with an electrifying move to the line of scrimmage, scoots to the outside and dashes down the sideline.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to another night of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. So glad you've decided to spend a little bit of time with us here tonight. We'll keep you entertained and informed over the next couple of hours as we make our way through the month of July, about to the midway point of this thing. And today was a big day in Arlington for the Big 12 Media Days. We'll get to that here in just a little bit, but congratulations to Bryce McGowan. As Tim told you in the ticker, really good game out there in Vegas. 24 points to lead his team in scoring. So a good splash by the young man trying to make an impression on his new franchise. And happy for him. That's a really good showing for him.
Yeah, and a good bounce back performance because he didn't play as well the last time they were out on, I believe it was Sunday. And so he shot it much better today. Shot it much better than he has any game. I mean, he shot it decently his first game out, but, you know, to knock it down from the outside, he's going to have to do that to earn a spot and earn playing time at the NBA level. And he wasn't as consistent from the outside, so he's got to be able to do that consistently. So big for him to have that. And then looks like he got to the line a little bit, which is also something that he needs to do. So seems to be, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but seems to be his best summer league performance so far.
So congratulations to Bryce. We'll continue to follow that as he continues to play out in the desert, along with his brother Trey, who's not getting a lot of playing time with the Clippers. Delano Banton, also a former Husker, playing well for the Raptors out there. All right, I mentioned that the Big 12's the first Power 5 league to have their media days down in Arlington, Texas. They introduced their new commissioner today, Brett Yormark, who doesn't officially start until August the 1st. A couple of the key quotes that he had was, "We are open for business. We will leave no stone unturned." Looks like he knows and wants to expand that league from what will be in 2025 a 12-team league. I think they want to get it up in that 16-team range. He also talked to Jessica about trying to be a little bit more hip, trying to draw more younger fans into their league's arenas, stadiums, what it may be. But he had some interesting comments today. It looks like he's ready for this big challenge.
Well, that's what I was saying last night, you know, with Bob Bowlesby and the way that the Big 12 had slipped off a little bit, this hiring from Rock Nation, you know, again, trying to maybe get a different perspective on things to try to, you know, get some interest and have a different perspective and not be behind the times and maybe push the envelope. But yeah, it was completely different messaging from what we heard from previous commissioner Marks for the Big 12. He's more aggressive. He's trying to stay in front of things. And so, yeah, it was different than what you usually hear from what we've been used to hearing for so long from Bob Bowlesby.
So he did speak today, and I think that league kind of realizes they need to try to go add some players to their roster to kind of fortify themselves as maybe the number 3 conference behind the Big Ten and the SEC. And I think that possibility is there. Mike Gundy, who I get a kick out of, I know he agitates and irritates a lot of people for his comments, but he made a comment that said, we're in much better position today than they were 12 months ago. And I think that's probably a fair statement. I think after the earthquake in that league with Oklahoma and Texas announcing their departure, I think you get the feeling now the Big 12 is a little bit more settled. I think the additions that they have coming in 1 or 2 years, I can't remember where I get lost when Cincinnati, Houston, all those teams are coming in. But I do think that they're probably on better footing now than 12 months ago.
I absolutely agree. And you think about, it's almost lucky for them that the domino fell for them when it did, because they got a chance to get, if they're not going to steal from the Big Ten or the SEC, they got the prime programs of the next level. And so Louisville, that's a good program to bring in all sports.
Not Louisville, Houston.
Houston. Yep. Houston is a good program. They have a lot of different sports that compete. There's a bunch of those schools that they're bringing in have competitive programs that are not just about football. So adding to the league overall in competition. So, yeah, I mean, and I would think that because of the numbers that they already have and that their TV deal is probably going to be better than the next one.
It won't be in the same range as the Big Ten or the SEC, but it should be good enough that they can all still be fairly competitive.
Yeah.
I will say BYU certainly brings problems, baggage, whatever you want to use, with them because of the inability to compete on Sundays, that type of thing. But they are a national brand. They have fans across the country because of their religious bent.
And their viewership is pretty high
good
on TV. And yeah, I mean, that's a big program to get. And, you know, there were a lot of times. The first realignment time around, that BYU was a program that the Big 12 really wanted but couldn't make it work.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I think they thought that was a home run. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be wild to see those teams competing in the Big 12. But I think the way that they were able to salvage things and bring in the programs that they did, definitely, because there was, at that point, people were like, oh, the Big 12 is going away.
Right.
I mean, this is detrimental. They're not going to rebound from this. They're going to have to dissolve and find other places, everybody in the Big 12. But for them to somehow figure out a way to bring in the teams that they brought in, now they, in my opinion, are ahead of the Pac-12 and even probably the ACC.
I think you're right, and I think a lot of people were writing their epitaph a year ago going, it's over. They're going to be, so many schools are going to be in the Mountain West. They're just not going to be a player. Well, I think they have solidified themselves. And one thing, I think they're going to be fine in football. They're going to be a really elite conference in hoops. I mean, they've won the last two national titles on the men's side with Baylor and Kansas. And Cincinnati has a really good program.
And
Houston has been very, very good. BYU is really competitive. So they're going to be, if not the best, one of the top 2 or 3 in basketball, no question.
Absolutely, yeah. That's going to be. They didn't dip off because Oklahoma's hasn't been a consistently good basketball program.
Really is Texas.
Texas, you never know. So they probably got better, and they were already one of the better basketball leagues. They're probably Big 12 and Big 10 I would say, are the 2 best leagues in basketball, from top to bottom, and the depth and the competition at the bottom half of the league. So I think probably the Big 12 got even tougher with what they brought in as far as a basketball conference.
I think you're right. And, there was some chatter a week or so ago that maybe they could get the Arizona schools. If they pull that off somehow, some way, you add Arizona hoops into that league, my goodness, it'd be a monster conference.
Yes, and even if you think about baseball, too, if you add...
It would be a very good baseball league.
Yep.
Yeah, it sure would be. So the Big 12 off and running. Half of their teams went today. The other half are going to go tomorrow. We did learn today the Big 10 put out the schedule of events for their media day coming up on the 26th and 27th of this month. Nebraska will be one of the first teams up at the podium and out of the gate. Part of that is because Nebraska wants to get back to Lincoln, because it's Fan Day that night. So we announced that yesterday, that Fan Day will be on the 26th of July inside Memorial Stadium from 6 to 7:30. So for a lot of you who love to come and collect some autographs from some of these guys and meet some of the players, meet some of the coaches, July 26th, 6 to 7:30. So the Huskers requested of the Big Ten, can you put us up first? Let us be done by early afternoon so that we can fly back to Lincoln and be ready to go. But the other big part of that is their first practice is the 27th. They're going to start practicing on the 27th.
That's a busy couple days for the head ball coach and a couple players.
Sure will be. I don't think the announcement came out of what players. We all kind of have our thoughts of who may be going, but I don't think they've officially announced which players will be going to Indianapolis to represent the Cornhuskers. So, all right, here's what we have on the show tonight. We started on Monday with our position breakdowns. We started with Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator who handles the quarterbacks. We went to the defensive line last night with Mike Dawson. Coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to hear from Mickey Joseph, who has really retooled that room. As that and the defensive line and the edge rushers, those have been probably the 2 positions impact. Well, I can't really say that because I think also kickers have been influenced by the transfer portal by Nebraska. But Mickey Joseph, no doubt, was pretty aggressive in the last 6 months, getting guys from LSU, from New Mexico State, from Texas to come add to his room, to join guys like Oliver Martin and Brody Belt and Omar Manning and those guys that he has back. So it's going to be fascinating to talk to Coach Joseph here in a couple of minutes about his room and where he thinks that thing is headed and what we can expect in the coming weeks when practice gets going, as I mentioned earlier, on the 27th of July. Hour number 2, we finally lassoed Caitlin Hord, who is the new addition to John Cook's volleyball squad, the transfer from Penn State, an All-American middle blocker who just is going to add a lot of depth, experience, and talent to this Husker volleyball team. We're going to talk to her in hour number 2. Cannot wait to hear from Caitlin.
She's great. What a great addition, and is fitting in so well. And Husker fan, I mean, they're already going to be obviously very familiar with her, but to hear her perspective and her take on things, fans are going to love her.
Fantastic. Look forward to that coming up in hour number 2. And as always, our phone lines, text lines, open and available for you, 402-413 2400, and that's the number to call or text. It's our Sports Nightly hotline, which is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy online at woodhouse.com. When we come back, Mickey Joseph will be here. We'll talk about the wide receivers for the Cornhuskers. That's next.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today we're tackling the issue of GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. GMOs may sound scary, but they're actually benefiting our environment and consumers. That's because GMO crops help solve specific problems like insects, food waste, and droughts. By selecting good traits from one plant or organism and adding them to another, farmers are safely using science to produce high-quality foods better than ever before. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Momentum. It's building at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. With game-changing work in precision agriculture, nanoscience, and digital humanities. We're unlocking mysteries in brain research, solving the impossible with remote surgery using robots. And we're creating bold futures with world-leading research in early childhood education. We don't slow down, and we're not letting up. We are Nebraska.
Hey Huskers fans, this Friday, join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. In this week's episode, we'll hear from Huskers track and field high jumping star Jenna Rogers, Nebraska Associate Athletic Director of Academics Dennis LeBlanc, and new transfer guard Maddie Kroll with the summer basketball update. In Hour 2, we'll talk to new Nebraska Offensive Coordinator Mark Whipple, followed by new Huskers Volleyball Hall of Famer Christina Hotelling, and new dual sport freshman Maggie Mendelson, who gives us an update from Huskers Women's Hoops summer workouts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
It's more than a Lincoln, it's your Lincoln. Custom order your next luxury SUV with Woodhouse Lincoln today. Choose from the full range of Lincoln models and curate every detail to your deepest desires. From exterior color down to each accessory, our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will guide you to your next vehicle. Begin your custom order journey online at woodhouselincoln.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Hey Huskers fans, this Friday, join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. In this week's episode, we'll hear from Huskers track and field high jumping star Jenna Rogers, Nebraska Associate Athletic Director of Academics Dennis LeBlanc, and new transfer guard Maddie Kroll with the summer basketball update. In Hour 2, we'll talk to new Nebraska Offensive Coordinator Mark Whipple, followed by new Huskers Volleyball Hall of Famer Christina Hotelling, and new dual sport freshman Maggie Mendelson, who gives us an update from Huskers Women's Hoops summer workouts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
The Huskers provide the best on the field, and so does Kubota. The new Kubota L60 Limited Edition Series provides the best package for affordability, quality, and comfort, like the deluxe Grand L factory-installed cab or spacious open operator station. Maximize performance with Kubota's best-in-class HST Plus transmission and many other features of the L60 LE Series. Experience the Kubota difference. Visit nebraska-kubota-dealers.com or see Rush Kubota in West Point or Roars Machinery in Beatrice.
Hey Husker fans, this is Anne-Marie from the Nebraska Beef Council. Just like the Big Red wins on the court, you can win at the dinner table with great tasting beef. From steaks and roasts to ground beef and kebabs, there are countless ways to create a meal that will have your family cheering for more. Visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com for easy beef recipes, cooking tips, and meal inspirations. Beef, it's what's for dinner in Nebraska.
Brought to you by Nebraska's beef producers and their beef checkoff.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Tonight we continue our position breakdowns with a look at the Husker wide receiving room, and joined now by associate head coach, wide receivers coach Mickey Joseph. You've really remade this thing since you got here in January. Some different parts. What kind of challenges does that create for you as a coach? Trying to get a culture maybe established? Is that your biggest thing?
Yeah, you know, you had to change the culture in that room. You know, I mean, I thought that it can use a boost for us with some talent, getting some kids out the portal, and some really talented high school kids, because I usually like to keep between 10 and 11 really good players, because then that motivates himself. You know, nobody can take a day off. Take a day off, somebody else is going to get it done. So 10 or 11, and I think right now we have 9 to 11 that, you know, I'm comfortable with or playing right now.
Let's start with some names Husker fans will remember from last season. Oliver Martin, Omar Manny. What kind of spring did they have, and where are they at in your expectation meter?
Well, Oliver, I call him Ollie. He had a really good spring. You know, he had a really good spring, and you know, it was more with him with confidence, having confidence in himself. But for his technique, you know, he's really improved at that. He catches the ball well, runs really good routes, and he's fast. So, you know, just working on his releases, you know, just not dancing so much and trying to get up the field and put pressure on the defense with his speed. So I thought he had a pretty decent spring. You know, I thought he had a pretty decent spring, and he's having a really good summer right now.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Alante Brown's another guy that we saw glimpses of, and he maybe made as big an impact on special teams as he did catching the football. But what about Alante?
Well, he like I said, he's still learning the position. He was a quarterback in high school. Right. So he's still learning the position. But what Alante does, he comes to work every day. He's a really good leader for that room, because he works and he wants to be great. He wants to be great. And I always tell this group, we're striving for excellence. So sometimes they look at me like, oh, he's not good enough. No, we're striving for excellence. So if we're going to strive for excellence, that's how we got to work. And Alante, you can take your hat off to him, because he's really working hard.
I forgot that he was a quarterback in high school.
Yeah, he was a quarterback in high school. Yeah. And that's a tough transition. That's a tough transition. You would know. I tried it in the CFL. It didn't work well for me. But that kid's really talented. He's catching the ball better, but he works.
Coach, two guys that redshirted a year ago really didn't see the field were Camonte Grimes, Sean Hardy. Where are they at? What do they need to keep doing to maybe have an impact on this team?
Well, I have this conversation with Grimes, so it's no secret. He needs to play faster. He needs to have more confidence and play faster. And when he does that, he's really good. But when he don't play fast, then he's really not that good, you know. And with him, he understands that when he goes, and he's good when he goes. But he's got to get in a routine of going all the time. I always tell him, you go fast and let me slow you down. You know, I don't want to have to tell you pick your pace up. Let me slow you down. But he understands. But he's a really talented kid with really good hands, and we're still working on his route running and trying to get him to play faster.
All right, you signed a couple guys in the recruiting periods in December and February. Victor Jones, DeColdis Crawford, Bonner from Atlanta was a late get for you down in the Georgia area. What about those three guys? What'd you like about them? And now that you've had a couple of weeks around, and in some cases more than that, what do you see?
Well, with Victor, Victor, he's a big body kid, and he's really improved. I think he's got much better, since the spring, because in the spring he was still a baby, he was still young, he was still supposed to be in high school. And I think while the other freshmen's getting here and he can hang out with his classmates, I think it really helped him. And people don't understand that affects kids sometimes when they got to come in here and all of a sudden he's 17 years old, but he's got to hang out with 21-year-old kids, 22-year-old kids, and that's a big difference. So, but I think he's comfortable right now. He's going to continue to get better, and we're going to continue to work on his route running skills and catching the ball. But he's a big talented kid. He's a big talented kid, big body.
DeColdis?
DeColdis is picking up. We moved DeColdis inside, to the slot.
Gotcha.
So, he was learning Z and X the entire time when he wasn't here. And then when he got here, we threw a curveball at him and said, okay, we need you to go inside. Because we needed to get more depth at that position, and we felt like he was the one out of those three that can go inside, because he's a little bit more twitchy than the other two. And he's running really good routes right now. He's picking it up, and he's doing really good.
And what about Bonner?
Bonner got a little hamstring injury, but we was impressed to see him early in the summer. How big he is and how fast he can run, and he catches the ball really well. So we just looking for him to come back and continue to improve. And we just got to get these three kids caught up as far as the scheme. And Cass and I talked about that this morning. Like, we gonna get them caught up mentally. Physically, they're gonna be ready, but mentally, we got to get them ready.
Big change from high school to this level.
Big change.
Again, visiting Mickey Joseph here on Sportsline. Okay, the transfer portal was big for your room in the last 6 months. Trey Palmer was here for the spring. What'd you think?
He's a totally different kid than I had at LSU. I think he's playing with more confidence. I think he understands the grind that I expect out of the group. I think he understands that every day he's got to come and fight. He's got to come fight every day, to keep his job. And I think he understands that, because he was in a situation like he was in a talented room at LSU. Remember, he was in a room with Jefferson, Jamar, Terrence, Racey McMaster. People's like, well, Mickey, why didn't he play? I'm like, well, you know what? He played behind 2 first-rounders, with Justin Jefferson, and then Terrence Marshall went there. So he played with, behind two big-time players.
Yeah.
But it's his time, and he's doing really good. I mean, he's here, he's happy, and that's the difference I see with him, that he's a happy camper right now. And even my wife said, hey, he's a different kid. He's a different kid, and we're happy to have him.
Isaiah Garcia Castaneda was also here for the spring, but was hurt, so you really didn't get to see him. What should we expect?
Well, so far he looks really good. He's really good. He's going to be an outside guy for us, and he runs well, tracks the ball well, catches the ball well, runs good routes. He's a veteran player, so he's caught up mentally, and we just got to continue to keep him caught up. But the thing about it, I think he fits in well into the scheme with Coach Whipple's scheme. He fits in well. He also, he can do a lot of things. He can run down on kickoffs. He can play gunner. He can do all of that, and he's a real athletic kid out there.
Marcus Washington, maybe the latest addition to your room. I don't know if you had much of a chance to work with him at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, Marcus. I recruited Marcus out of high school when I was at LSU, so I'm familiar with Marcus. Marcus is a big body, has really good hands, run really good routes. But Marcus brings attitude to the room. He brings, grit. Let's go get it, and that's what I like about him, that he's going to be able to play special team. He reminds me of a kid I had at LSU, Racey McMath, who's with the Titans right now. That he's gonna play special teams, but he brings attitude to the room. He's kind of the bully. You go get him, and he'll set the tone, and that's what I like about him.
Coach, you know how much the walk-on program has meant to this program, how much it means to the state. You got a bunch of them in your room. Brody Bell, Wyatt Lee were 2 of them that have played some football here. Your thoughts about those 2 guys, and will they be contributors?
Yeah. And, you got Ty Hahn.
Ty Hahn, yeah.
And I played with some pretty good walk-ons when I played here. Tom Haas, we were still really good friends, was quarterback. But I'm just telling you, those kids are unbelievable. They're hard workers. They're utility guys. When I say that, they can play all 3 positions. You know, I like Brody. Like I think Brody's one of the best football players on our team because he can do so much. He can play special teams. He can play running back. He can play receiver. But those kids come to work every day. And that's what you do like about them. And they don't take it for granted, you know, that, you know, they know I'm going to be fair with them. If they perform, they know that I'll walk in there and say, hey, this kid deserves a scholarship. And Frost has been good about that, about recognizing when they give them scholarships. And those kids are going to work every day, and they're going to help us. They're going to help us on special teams and also going to help us in the receiver room.
And I've asked a lot of former players and coaches this. A lot of people don't know the difference between a walk-on and a scholarship guy on the team because they're treated the same.
Yes.
Pretty much around here, right?
Yes. Everybody gets reps. And that's what we tell them. Everybody gets reps, and the thing with our walk-on guys, we do treat them good. You know, we don't treat them any different than we treat a scholarship kid, and that helps them. But it also helps the team gets better. You know, if the walk-ons are competing and the scholarship kids know, hey, this walk-on's really competing really hard right now. You know, you always say to yourself, like, how would you want to be treated if you was a walk-on? And I know we all treat them good here. And this the one place I know they treat walk-ons totally different than other places I've been. That walk-ons get reps. You know, at LSU, our walk-ons really didn't get a lot of reps. You know, because we went ones against twos against ones, so we never really got to see them. But you get to see these kids; they get to show their stuff, and you know when they're having a good day, you really you love seeing it. You know, Elliott Brown, you know, you got Winemaster, you know, you got Truitt, you know, you got some kids that really can play.
Bill Bush is a big Winemaster fan.
Yes.
Loves him for special team stuff.
I love him too.
Yeah.
I love him.
Have a great camp. I know it's going to get here fast, and that week's Euro game is going to sneak up on us, and I know you feel like you're maybe a little behind because you got a lot more new faces in your room, but August will be big, won't it, for this program?
Yes, sir. Yes, it will.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Go Big Red.
Mickey Joseph with us here on Sports Night. Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More of the show coming up next.
Let me grab my car keys, and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up. Home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Huh. Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Don't miss out on any of the action as your Huskers take the field at Memorial Stadium this fall. 2022 Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now for as low as $60. Want to get in on even more of the action? Upgrade to a customizable Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $180. To purchase your 2022 Husker football tickets today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Go Big Red.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid minerals with protein or Redmond natural mineral salt for livestock or humans, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blahorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today's topic, animal agriculture. There's been a lot of talk suggesting that giving up meat is good for the environment. However, livestock emissions only account for less than 4% of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, by reducing meat in your diet, you're missing out on all sorts of beneficial nutrients like protein, iron, and zinc. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Hey Huskers fans, this Friday, join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. In this week's episode, we'll hear from Huskers track and field high jumping star Jenna Rogers, Nebraska Associate Athletic Director of Academics Dennis LeBlanc, and new transfer guard Maddie Kroll with the summer basketball update. In Hour 2, we'll talk to new Nebraska Offensive Coordinator Mark Whipple, followed by new Huskers Volleyball Hall of Famer Christina Hotelling, and new dual sport freshman Maggie Mendelson, who gives us an update from Huskers Women's Hoops summer workouts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up. Home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. Thanks again to Coach Joseph for coming in and talking about the wide receiving room. And boy, I'm kind of getting excited about. I mean, there's a lot. He has some options in there, and not just scholarship guys. You heard him kind of rave again about Brody Belt, a walk-on.
That's got to be the deepest room, right?
Defensive backs might be, and that's coming tomorrow night, by the way.
Yes, I mean, between those two, it's got to be one of those two. But yeah, a lot of different guys coming in, and they're going to have to battle and bring their A game every single day because and we've said this before, that depth chart could change. It could every single day.
Yep.
Every single week. You know, you better take care of business at all times or you might get moved down that depth chart.
No, and there's no question about that. Andy was in our chat room was wanting to know about which wide receivers will have an impact on special teams. We do have Bill Bush scheduled to come in next week. We'll certainly get to that. Obviously, Trey Palmer's a guy that has a history of doing that at LSU with returning kicks, punts, did both for touchdowns. You got to think he's going to be a big factor. But Andy, we will get to that with Bill Bush next week. I do think Trey Palmer has elevated the talent level by himself in that room. I think that is clearly a guy that could be an all-conference type of wide receiver.
Absolutely. And I think just, the relationship that he and Mickey have and Trey knowing how Mickey works has been really beneficial to this group too. He stepped into a leadership role and didn't demand it by any means, but just the fact that they have that bond, they have that relationship. He knows the expectations of Mickey Joseph, and I think he's helping guys along in that area too, from what I've been able to see. And, he had mentioned that, how there were some older guys that you saw get drafted really high in the NFL draft that took him under their wings when he was at LSU. So now he feels that it's his time to be able to do that. But yeah, I think absolutely. But I think there's a lot of other talent that, and then Oliver Martin, you heard him talk about Oliver Martin in the spring that he had going through video that working on a couple pieces, he was a guy that it was apparent that he was making a lot of plays in the spring. So I think there's a lot of options there. And then you think about, you have some young talent, but it's also some experienced talent too. It's a good mixture of all of it. And so I think that group's going to be really exciting to follow.
I know a lot of people want to forget about the Illinois game last year. I sure would like to. But Oliver Martin had a really good game, over 100 yards receiving, and then he tweaked a foot late in that game, and that really kind of stunted the next month or so for Oliver. So I think he was about to get on a roll last year when he got a bad foot sprain late in that Illinois game. John on our text line said, Mickey didn't mention Omar Manning. Any thoughts? That's on me, John. I threw him 2 names, and I did not follow up. I did talk afterwards with Mickey, and he said Omar's doing great, had a good spring, needs to be more consistent, but certainly has the ability and talent to be a good playmaker in this offense. So that's on me, John, that I didn't go follow up on that with Coach Joseph.
He just got too excited talking about Oliver Martin.
He did. Ollie. He called him Ollie?
Yeah. Ollie. He has almost every one of his guys has a nickname.
Well, yeah, that's, I think, kind of the way Mickey rolls. What about the freshmen? I mean, there's some interest. I mean, I love DeColdis. I love the name DeColdis, but I think there's some talent in there that those guys might have a chance to get on the field a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Mickey's going to say, well, you're going to have to wait your turn. If whoever it is that's doing their job, and you even heard him mention a couple of the guys that are playing on special teams, which you said we'll get into more of when we have Coach Bush on, but Mickey will probably be watching all of that. And if you are on special teams, you better be doing your job right there. And it's all of it. And those expectations. And that's what he was saying is not that it's not good enough. We just have high expectations that we expect of you. And so I think whoever kind of rises to that challenge, that's who's going to separate him. But I don't think he's going to discriminate whether you're a freshman or a senior. You've been here, you haven't been here. It's who's going to go out there and consistently get the job done the best. Jessica,
they are allowed to take 74 players to Ireland. So that's probably 8, 9 wide receivers. There are going to be some pretty good players left in Lincoln because they're not going to make the travel roster for that opening game.
I was actually thinking about that too, and it's a small space, but yeah, they're going to have to be really strategic of which players get on that trip.
Right. And you better maybe double up and do some special teams work if you're going to make the trip and you're a wide receiver. And we're talking again to Travis Fisher tomorrow night. He probably has 20 DBs. They usually travel with 11. I mean, he's going to have a hard time deciding. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rudy, but they post on the locker room door, Rudy, they've got a typed up sheet of who makes the travel roster. They don't really do it quite that way anymore. But thinking about that, there's going to be guys really anxious that couple days before Ireland. Am I going to make it? Am I going to make the trip? Am I going to be part of this group playing game 1?
And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably got to be in their mind the whole way.
Better be.
Not only starting, but even just getting on that rotation deep enough to where you are on that travel roster.
Mickey's made an impact, hasn't he? Not only with the guys that he has here, but getting players coming to Lincoln. 1,000,000%. And I talked about this a little bit last week when after a big-time wide receiver commitment came in that, just reading Jamar Chase talking about Mickey. I mean, this is a guy that was very highly recruited, but it was the way that Mickey recruited Jamar. It wasn't even about football. It was the relationship that he built. They didn't even talk about football most of the time. It was about all the different things. And so I read that article, and then the more that I talked to the guys, and especially a guy like Trey Palmer, DeColdis, the guys that have followed him, that's the same kind of sentiments that they talk about, is just the way that he builds those relationships. And look, he's hard on them. You heard him talking about that. The expectations are very high, but then he also balances being a mentor, a father figure, all of that. And that's not easy to do, being a balance of both, someone that's really, really close, but also really, really pushes you. And he's got that mastered, I think. And that's not easy to do because some coaches go too far the other way, or they want to be their buddies, and so they can't discipline them, or they can't get after them in the middle of a game because they'll just disappear. They'll wilt in that. But Mickey seems to have that good balance.
Well, and then developing. It's not just about bringing the guys in and having that, and then you have that talent. No, every player grows, underneath him too. So a lot of times it might just be a coach is really good at bringing in the talent and then, coaching them, but he helps them grow and develops that talent once he gets them here. And that's also, all of that packaged into one is very, very rare, which is why he's been such a big name in college football, why a bunch of teams wanted him to join their coaching staff.
Yeah. Interesting comment that he made about at LSU. He said, we didn't give walk-ons many reps. He said, we do here because we go in different stations and we get guys' ability. He goes, I can't watch them all, but I can go back and watch them on tape and see how guys did. He goes, we really didn't do much of that at LSU. That was interesting that they don't do it there, but they do more of that here.
I wonder what the difference between how many numbers of guys that LSU has.
I think Nebraska's roster size is probably bigger.
Well, because that's when Oklahoma, when we went back there in the spring, one of the coaches was asking me about how many players Nebraska carries, and was asking specifically about the walk-on program that, moving to the SEC, they got to have more bodies, that they can't go ones versus ones as much and so that he was asking about that. So that is good for a football team when you don't have to go, your ones the entire time. It saves some injuries, some reps, and it's beneficial when you can just take a different group and go work on whatever you want to work on. And it doesn't require the whole team to put in some offensive plays.
All right, there's Mickey Joseph. If you have some thoughts, again, 402-413-2400. The number to dial us up with a comment, a question, or fire off a text. Tomorrow night, Travis Fisher. We will talk about another very deep position on this football team, but with some open spots with starters departing after last year. So we'll get into that tomorrow night with Coach Fisher. Nebraska 811 says, go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Back with our final segment of Hour 1 next.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help us with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. J.D. Power ranked Shelter Insurance #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region and #1 in price.
See shelter agents Pete Voles or Brent Ruggo in North Platte, or in Broken Bow, see agent Brent Custer.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy online at woodhouse.com. We've been talking football this hour. Mickey Joseph on earlier in the hour. You still have time to put together your own customized Husker football 3-game mini plan, on sale now for $180. You choose a game from 3 groups. In September, you pick either Georgia Southern or North Dakota. In October, either Indiana or Illinois. November, Minnesota or Wisconsin. Those seats are going to be located in the north and south end zones. Very easy to do. You go online, huskers.com/tickets, pick the games that fit your schedule the best. $180. Well over 1,000 of those have been sold, so really good response to that. Great way for you if you're limited on budget right now, and who isn't with our current economy. And also, if you just can't get away for 7 weekends to come to Lincoln, good way to do that. Here's also a thought, Jessica, on this thing. Somebody told me this the other day. They go, you know what? Say you have a buddy, and he really doesn't want a full season ticket, and you really don't want a full season ticket, but you pick 3 games, and he picks 3 games, and you share your tickets. There's 6 of the 7. You're covered.
Yeah. There you go.
It's a good thought.
You've been thinking about that.
Well, yeah, this guy, I can't remember who the fellow was that told me that, but I said, I'm going to use that. Can I use it? He told me I could use that.
That's very smart.
So good for that. Huskers.com/tickets, the website for you to go to put together your mini pack for Husker football coming up here this fall. 402-413-2400. Tim in Minnesota said, I didn't hear Coach Joseph talk much at all about blocking downfield. Tim, we were a little limited. We get these coaches for 10, 12 minutes, whatever the case may be, and I wanted to get through personnel. So, no, we did not really get deep dive into that. But hopefully getting kind of through the guys that are in his room, that's kind of the purpose of these particular things. We'll get those coaches on for a full hour in the fall. We'll get into more things like that.
Well, and in 2 weeks, we'll start having availability with them because fall camp will start. And so that's when they'll start diving into that more, too.
Yeah, this was more just kind of let's go through the personnel, who's on this football team. And that's the point of these position breakdowns that we're in the midst of. And again, Travis Fisher tomorrow night. Travis usually is lengthy because, 1, he has a lot of guys, and 2, he gives you really thoughtful answers about each guy in his team. So not that I think all the coaches do a great job of that, but I'm looking forward to talking to Coach Fisher tomorrow night here on the program. We started the hour by talking about Bryce McGowan's had a really good game today in the Summer League out in Vegas. You just saw the Charlotte Hornets kind of gave him a little tip, huh?
Named him on their social media. He is the player of the game today.
Good.
So congratulations. That was big for him. He needed to have a good game and I would say probably a breakout game of Summer League. But I can only imagine going through that for the first time, and it's your dream, and it's the first time you're on the court, and you're figuring all of it out, and all the pressure and the nerves. And so I wouldn't know how to handle that.
Do you think?
And he's so young at that. You have to keep that in mind that he's young for his age anyways, but then he's only played a year of college ball. So he's so young in this process. And so I can only imagine just all the thoughts running through his head as he takes the court every time. But he'll settle in, and it will be basketball again to him. And apparently maybe today that is the start of that.
He would have fit what Kevin Durant was asking everybody to do yesterday, right, on Twitter?
What did you add to your legacy today?
That's right?
What did you do today to add to your legacy?
That was a Kevin Durant challenge, whatever, yesterday, right?
It blew up on Twitter. It blew up.
So there's Bryce's answer, right? This is what I did today. I went out and became my team's player of the game.
Yeah, he's a little Kevin Durant-ish, the wing game. Remember Kevin Durant has made such a big deal about, hey, the NBA is now a wings game. Bryce fits into that.
Sure does. He sure does. We'll keep monitoring Bryce as we make our way through. Again, thanks to Mickey Joseph for spending some time with us to go to the wide receiver room. Next hour, Caitlin Horde is going to be with us. She is the new addition to John Cook's volleyball team, an All-American middle blocker from Penn State. Can't wait to hear from her. We got some other things that we'll get into next hour as well here on Sports Nightly. And keep in mind, Kevin Durant, what did you do to help your legacy today?
Yeah, somebody I unloaded the dishwasher, and he quote tweeted it and said, "You made your family better today."
I took the trash out last night, so there you go. That was my contribution.
Dang it, I forgot to do that.
1 hour down, 1 to go. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no place that treats you like home like Sap Brothers. For 50 years, Sap Brothers has fueled America's heartland and been a reliable partner to local farms and Husker fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment and welcoming guests into their travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
It's more than a Lincoln, it's your Lincoln. Custom order your next luxury SUV with Woodhouse Lincoln today. Choose from the full range of Lincoln models and curate every detail to your deepest desires. From exterior color down to each accessory, our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will guide you to your next vehicle. Begin your custom order journey online at woodhouselincoln.com.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he's so hot. The air conditioning is out again. But wait, he sees an opening. SOS! SOS, he screams and calls 391-2336. SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer. Boy, he made the right call today as SOS is already on the way. SOS is your trustworthy company since 1950, and with Luxair, you get free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. Call 391-2336 or visit soshvac.com today.
And welcome into the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. In Huskers news today, congratulations to Jazz Shelley of Huskers Women's Basketball. Jazz is partaking in the first ever NBA Student Athlete Summit. The event is being held in Las Vegas this week, and Jazz is one of 15 student athletes from across the country in attendance, where she is representing both Nebraska and the Big Ten. Over to Nebraska softball, where incoming freshman Ashley Smetter was named a high school All-American last night. The infielder and Lincoln native made the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association third-team high school All-American after hitting .493 in her senior season on her way to her second state title with Lincoln Southwest. 2 Huskers programs earned praise for their success in the classroom today. 27 Huskers earned all academic honors for the 2021-2022 season, with both the men's and women's track and field teams receiving the all academic team award. 8 Nebraska bowlers were also named 2021-2022 all academic scholars by the National 10-Pin Coaches Association. And finally, 4 Huskers will represent Nebraska in the Big Ten's inaugural Big Life Series event. This year's event is titled Selma to Montgomery. It's Derek Walker of Huskers Men's Hoops, Sadio Fenner and Michaelon Moore of Men's Track and Field, and Executive Associate Athletic Director and Senior Woman Administrator Marquita Armstead will be 4 of 100 athletics personnel from across the Big Ten to take the trip from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama this weekend, as they learn about the civil rights history that took place there. Over to pro sports tonight in Major League Baseball. Lots of games now underway. Reds are up big on the Yankees 4-0 in the bottom of the third. The Mariners lead the Nationals 2-0 in the seventh. 1-0 Pirates over the Marlins, looking for a sweep there in the top of the fifth. The Blue Jays lead the Phillies 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth. It's 2-0 Rays in the top of the fourth over the Red Sox. The White Sox and Guardians are scoreless in the fourth. In the bottom of the first, just underway, the Dodgers and Cardinals are also scoreless. Also scoreless, the Orioles and Cubs, as they are in the top of the first. Some earlier finals from today: 6-4, Mariners topped the Nationals. 7-3, the Mets beat the Braves. 4-1, the Twins took down the Brewers. 5-2, the Royals bested the Tigers. And 4-3, the Giants edged out the Diamondbacks. 3 games left still on the slate tonight. Athletics take on the Rangers in just a couple moments. At 7:40, Padres will take on the Rockies. And at 8:38, the Astros will battle the Angels. You heard Greg talk about it in Hour 1. Bryce McGowens was in action earlier today in Summer League basketball. As for the Charlotte Hornets, he helped them in a win over Cleveland. Bryce was the star in terms of offensive point production, scoring 24 points to lead all scorers, going 7 for 10 from the floor and connecting on 5 of 6 three-pointers. He was also 5 of 6 from the line. And lastly, it happened right when we were reading the first ticker in the first hour. NHL free agency underway today. The big fish was Johnny Gaudreau, formerly of the Calgary Flames. He was expected to be one of the highest paid players in the NHL with his new contract, but he elected to take up to, according to insiders, $17 million pay cut. There were teams offering him $17 million more over the length of the entire contract. Instead, he signed with Columbus for an average of $9.5 million per season. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
In motion is Brewington. They snap it back, fake the handoff, looking to throw. They flip it out the flat to Brewington, makes a catch. Touchdown, Nebraska. Well, that looked easy that time. Brewington came in motion, and instead of cutting down the block, kept out the flat, flipped it out to him for an easy 6 points. And Treese now sends a man in motion. They turn, they flip it off to McDuffie, trying to race to the edge. Gets around JoJo Doma, but can't get around Nick Henrich. He'll go down. He'll lose 3 yards, back to the 23-yard line. What a play by Nebraska. It's caught. Touchdown. Omar Manning. What a grab in the end zone, and the Huskers have 6 more points.
What a throw and catch. Yes.
Nice jitterbug move, and it bouncing the outside 40 to the 50-yard line, to the 40, 30-yard line, 20. That's Grant, 15, 10, 5. He's in there. Touchdown, Anthony Grant, with an electrifying move to the line of scrimmage, scoots to the outside and dashes down the sideline.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres
solutions for every field. We're back, hour number 2, Wednesday night show here on Sports Night. I'm going to hear from Caitlin Ord here in just a little bit, the new middle blocker for John Cook's volleyball squad, the All-American from Penn State, who was picked up in the offseason by the Big Red. Looking forward to hearing from her. We've mentioned several times about the NBA Summer League going on out in Las Vegas. The commissioner, Adam Silver, had a press conference today, kind of his State of the Union of the league and about issues that are facing the league now and kind of moving forward. And this is something that we have not talked about in the past. I really want your take on this, Jessica, that he is, in 2005, the NBA said you had to be 19 years old to get drafted. Went from 18 to 19. He now is of the mindset that it needs to go back to 18. And if guys are good enough at that stage to just go right to the NBA, like LeBron was, like Kobe was, there's quite a few that did, he's in favor of doing that. I have been a big proponent of that. I'm not a big fan of the one-and-done rule in college basketball. I think it's hard to get to be a fan and go, okay, I know this guy's here, but he's only here for 30 games, and then he's gone, and how do I love him, and how do I wrap my arms around him if he's only going to be gone in 3 months? I think it would be better for college basketball if they move this back to 18.
Yeah, and it's so hard, too. You think about filling a roster, and even if a guy you think might come in for longer than a year and then he ends up having a good season and then he's out, and that's your point guard that you were going to be relying on for 3 years.
You didn't go recruit a point guard because you thought you had your guy.
Right, and so then you're scrambling to the portal. But, I just think when that rule was made, and we've talked a lot about this too, with that it was the right decision for Bryce to go ahead and go, because they've done better about the G League and their development of players. It used to not be that way. If you were going to the G League or the D League at the time, you weren't going to make it ever. But now, how many times are we seeing guys that go up and down, that are developed, that end up coming in and being players for their franchise team after spending some time growing and learning and developing in the G League? The G League has improved. So yes, I agree. Like when that rule was made, it was you were setting a kid up to go and potentially maybe ruin their life.
And there were a lot of kids who thought they were good enough right away, and they weren't. And so they never made it. And then by the time you do that, you can't go back to college. Then you've already forfeited your amateur status.
But there are absolutely some players. Basketball is different than most every other sport, where even baseball. I would say there's more kids out of high school that are probably more ready to play NBA than they are Major League Baseball. But I think there are a lot of kids. I shouldn't say a lot. There are kids that can go directly from high school and play in the NBA, and if they can't play automatically, they can go up and down, get a G League contract, and be developed there.
Your point about the G League being so much better now than it was in 05 is absolutely spot on. And that's why I think that the commissioners is comfortable doing this, that if you have those guys who aren't quite ready, they can still develop them in the G League. But I actually think college baseball does a really good job with it. If you want to get drafted out of high school and go. But if you come to Nebraska or wherever, you're there 3 years.
Unless you go JUCO. JUCO, you can go after 1 year.
But if you come to Division I, you got 3 years. You got to be here. I love that. I think that's a great rule. And then you can get drafted after your junior year, which a lot of kids do. So I've always felt like baseball kind of handled it right. I think it's hurt college basketball what the NBA did 17 years ago. So I'm all for this. I hope they go this way.
Well, and you also think, too, about if you have some of these young up-and-coming stars in the G League, and then you get attendance, and then you get people watching on TV, it will only continue to grow the business of the NBA. I mean, that's the best. Hands down, the NBA, I think, is the best professional franchise, how it's ran. And the
NFL is pretty good.
The global aspect,
it's more of a global game.
Yes. Yeah. I appreciate the way that the NBA is ran and how they take an approach to try to appeal around the world, and which basketball is more of a global game than football, but they do a good job of appealing.
And I'm also I think it would open more opportunities for young guys coming out of high school to get a scholarship, because if a one and done is going to take your scholarship, and so then you can't go to school X, you might have to go to school Y, or you might have to go a junior college and wait for a scholarship to open up at the school you want to go to. So I feel like it gives more opportunities for young kids, that somebody might be taking their scholarship for 9 months to be in Lincoln or Lawrence or wherever it may be.
And we've seen it with women's basketball, because you can't go 1 year and done, just the way that you can develop programs.
Right.
and build the chemistry, because you have a guy that comes in that's such a big part of your team for 1 year. It's a restart every single year.
Right.
If you have a one-and-doner that you're building that program around every single year, then you just basically have to reset and rebuild what that whole dynamic of the team is every single year.
Andrew's a big Duke fan. I mean, Duke rolls that roster over every year, where it takes me 3 months to figure out who's on Duke's roster, and they're done in another month because the tournament's over and they're all going to the NBA. I think that's, I mean, again, and I don't want kids to not go to the NBA. I think if you're ready and that's what you want to be as a professional basketball player at 18, go do it. Go live your dream.
Yep, I agree. And just, yeah, they've just done a better job of developing guys and not just, okay, yeah, you're not, if you go to the D League, you're done, and then you just got to go play overseas. You know, now they're investing a little bit more in the development part of the game of basketball, not just, hey, right here, right now, make a team or you're finished.
All right, coming up here, Caitlin coming up in just a couple of minutes, 402-413-2400, the number to be part of the program here tonight. The college basketball, a really cool thing got announced today. Gonzaga and Michigan State are going to play a game on November the 11th, which is Veterans Day, on an aircraft carrier.
Oh,
they're going to play out in San Diego on the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. They've done
this before.
They have done it. It's been a while, but
I think they did it last year.
Did they do it last year? So Gonzaga and Michigan State are going to play on that aircraft carrier on November the 11th. That got announced today. Gonzaga's going to be great again. They may be they'll be a top 5 team. I don't know where Michigan State will be good, but I'm not sure they'll be a top 10 team.
They even had a one-and-doner.
They did.
But they have enough players that they didn't build. Like, that team wasn't built around Chet Holmgren.
Correct.
They have a lot of guys. And I think Timmy's back for his 85th season.
He is. How in the world is he back?
I don't know.
It's got to be the COVID year, right?
Timmy,
He and Derek Walker, 25-year-old people playing college.
85 years of eligibility.
So that's pretty cool. November 11th, that'll be neat. That's the first full week of the college basketball season, and Gonzaga, Michigan State going to play on the deck of the Abraham Lincoln. That'll be really, really cool. All right, need to step aside, get a break. When we come back, Caitlin Ord, who's the newest member of John Cook's volleyball team, the transfer from Penn State. Going to hear from her coming up next. But first, time to tell you to buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back to talk some Husker volleyball next.
Woodhouse at Lincoln offers more than just vehicles. Steeped in tradition, Lincoln customers are offered 100 years of car building excellence, insightful technologies, luxury interior amenities, and benefits of the state-of-the-art showrooms and service departments. Convenient pickup and delivery, and an online buying experience that can be done anywhere. The simplicity of purchasing and owning makes shopping the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer an easy choice. Explore how Woodhouse Lincoln can change your drive today at woodhouselincoln.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska's new collaborative biosecurity lab is leading research to safeguard America's food supply against growing threats in partnership with the U.S. Departments of Defense and Homeland Security. The lab brings together world-leading expertise in agriculture and a deep understanding of the complexities of strategic deterrence across the threat spectrum and in multiple domains.
Hey Huskers fans, this Friday, join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. In this week's episode, we'll hear from Huskers track and field high jumping star Jenna Rogers, Nebraska Associate Athletic Director of Academics Dennis LeBlanc, and new transfer guard Maddie Kroll with the summer basketball update. In Hour 2, we'll talk to new Nebraska Offensive Coordinator Mark Whipple, followed by new Huskers Volleyball Hall of Famer Christina Hotelling, and new dual sport freshman Maggie Mendelson, who gives us an update from Huskers Women's Hoops summer workouts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Don't miss out on any of the action as your Huskers take the field at Memorial Stadium this fall. 2022 Husker football single game tickets are on sale now for as low as $60. Want to get in on even more of the action? Upgrade to a customizable Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $180. To purchase your 2022 Husker football tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Go Big Red.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Massey Ferguson gives Nebraska farmers the power and performance to win in the field. Kearney Equipment, Kearney, Nebraska, your big red Massey Ferguson dealer in central Nebraska.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul. Not to mention their injury list. Cox, we're sports 24/7. Learn more at cox.com/sports.
From sprains and stitches to sore throats and sinus infections. When it's care that can't wait, count on CHI Health Clinic Priority Care. Simply walk in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll get the quality care you need without an appointment, and you'll never pay more than a regular primary care visit. Get in, get out, and get on with your day. Find a location near you at chihealth.com/priority care.
Everyone knows that Dakota Mac is known for their great rates on long-term fixed ag real estate loans. But just how long-term are they? Well, even longer term than your first ride on the Gravitron at the county fair. And even longer term than the line to buy the corn dog you definitely shouldn't have eaten before you got on the Gravitron. Oof, so long-term.
Hi, it's Boyd Minry from Dakota Mac. Give me a call at 402-463-4637 to learn all about our competitive rates on 30-year fixed-rate loans.
This is you. Welcome back, Sports Nightly, here on a Wednesday night. Sorry about that, folks. So back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Caitlin Ord, we're going to talk to her. You ready to talk to her? Or not?
Yep. We got it? Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly, I am so excited for today's guest, one of the newcomers to Husker volleyball, but certainly not a newcomer to college volleyball, All-American, middle blocker, transfer from Penn State, Caitlin Ord. Thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, how's it going? How you settling in?
It's been good. It's been a big change, but in a good way. So very happy, very thankful to be here.
What have been some of the big changes that have taken place for you?
Well, I mean, I've just been at Penn State for 4 years. I kind of grew up there, so anything is a change from that.
Right.
But yeah.
So what's it been like working with the team? I know you guys can't have team workouts right now, but doing a little things on your own. What's been going on for you guys right now?
Yeah, it's been awesome just getting to know the girls all over again from a different perspective. They're no longer the enemies anymore. They're my teammates now, but we've been doing lifts in the morning every day except for Wednesdays, which is yoga days, and then we do open gym after that. So, yeah.
Hot yoga. We were talking before we started recording. Hot yoga. You a fan of that?
Off and on. It's not really strenuous yoga. It's like stretches more for recovery and getting mobility, so not too bad.
Is that a John Cook idea, hot yoga?
I believe it is, yeah. He actually did one session with us, so that was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, take me back through, you decided to transfer, what went through that decision process when you thought, I want to play my last year somewhere else?
Yeah, so I've loved volleyball ever since I started, and going to Penn State was like a dream come true, but unfortunately I kind of fell out of love with the sport, and so I want to play as long as I can, and the next step for me is definitely going to play overseas and maybe Olympics. But before I go to a foreign country, I want to make sure that I'm happy and that I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So I thought maybe I should fall back in love with the sport and then take my chances out in foreign land. So that's kind of where my head was at.
So when you enter the portal, and you could have gone anywhere, when you picked Nebraska on an official visit, did you have any inclination at all when you're about to go on all these official visits? I know you didn't take all of them.
Yeah.
Did you have any leaning one way or another, or were you completely going into it open-minded?
I mean, I won't lie. I actually was at the Final Four tournament, and so seeing Nebraska play and seeing just how genuine their reactions were after every play, like how excited they got for each other, that definitely kind of sparked something in me. I was like, wow, that seems really awesome to be a part of. And so I kind of had that in the back of my mind through the entire process, but for the most part I was like, I'll go anywhere as long as I feel like this is the right decision for me and I think I can be happy. So yeah.
So you come here and you immediately fall in love. What was it was it the second you got here? Was it something that happened?
Yeah.
Was it the whole thing? How did you fall in love with it?
I mean, it's really hard to put into words, but it's kind of more like a feeling, like very genuine again. I didn't feel like they were trying to sell me anything. I believed everyone, and so I just acted on it, and I said, I'm coming here, and canceled all the rest of the visits, so the rest is history.
A lot of people wouldn't do that. They would take their time, and even though they felt like this was right, they'd still go visit and see everything else. Why did you make the decision, okay, I'm done, this is it for me?
It just kind of felt right, I was actually hanging out with the girls and just loved seeing them interact, and I was like, guys, is it okay if I come here? And they're like, yeah, and then we all started jumping up and down, so it was super awesome. I just had to act on it. I didn't even tell my parents, but I went back to the hotel and was like, I did it, and my mom was like, I thought you would. So,
was it weird at all? Because, I mean, Penn State, Nebraska volleyball have such history and rivals and all of that. Was it weird at all, going through that process with someone that's been a rival?
I mean, not like you would think so. I kind of put all of that out of my mind and just said, I'm going to start over and not hold any grudges. Like when I was younger, I remember saying, I'm not gonna play for a school that's red because where I'm from, like the red schools were the enemy always. So like silly things like that. So this was a more mature decision, and I had things that I was specifically looking for, and I think Nebraska checked all those boxes.
It's awesome. So, I wanted to go back to your background, and you started playing volleyball late. You were late into the sport. You're a basketball player. So can you take us through that and how you got into volleyball in the first place?
Yeah, so I actually played basketball in like a co-ed league my last year of basketball with boys and girls. So that was fun. And then I did just girls, but it was a lot of physical contact for me. And sometimes when the competition is high and my emotions get high, I don't like to be touched too much. So I was just like, basketball is not really for me. So I kind of took a break from sports 8th grade year. And then when I got to high school, I was actually like on a tour for my high school. And while we were walking through the hallways, we ran into the volleyball coach. He's like, you should try out. I'm like, okay, sounds fun. And so I tried out and just kind of clicked.
Wow.
I wasn't very good.
I was
I'll
gonna
tell
say,
you that.
so were you good?
No, not at all. Took me forever to learn how to actually do the approaches and remember that you actually have 3 contacts, because every time I'd get the ball, I'd just kind of send it over right away. So it took a long time, but I'm here now, so it worked out.
So when did it click? When did you think, okay, I'm pretty good at this?
I would say my sophomore year in volleyball, maybe, so like 15. I think my first season in club, 15. So I remember just going through one camp. I think it was my first camp, and it was actually my first club coach. She said something. She's like, you have the chance to go to the Olympics if you keep at this. And I was like, man, I just started, and she said that. So that kind of clicked in me, and I was like, how high of a level can I really get to? So that's always kind of been back in my mind, trying to achieve.
Wow. So your dad was a big basketball player, played at Kentucky, was drafted in the NBA. What was that like growing up with a guy that was such a phenomenal athlete?
It was awesome. I mean, I remember going to the Y and him teaching me how to do like the hook shots and all that stuff. So always had that good background of athletics, and my parents were never really too pushy about you have to be perfect all the time, which I think is good, because now I'm my own worst critic, and so I think I know when I'm not performing the way I need to be, and I can, change when I need to. So
I read an article that he had said about you that you've always been a hard worker, that he never had to push you very much, but I saw where he had said that for you to write down goals, and you had goals that you wrote down. Is that something that you still do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have them written down because they're up here, kind of engraved in my mind now, but he always taught me, like, think about your goals either before you go to bed or when you wake up. So I still do that.
So how much did, him being a high-level athlete help you become the high-level athlete that you are?
It definitely inspired me. Just seeing what he was able to accomplish makes me want to do the same thing and see how high I can get and what level I want to compete at.
So when you told him that, hey, I'm going to switch to volleyball, I'm not going to play basketball, what was that conversation like?
I told my mom first, because I was like, I don't know how he's going to take it. He definitely didn't take it well. He was a little mad, but I think once he saw how much in love with volleyball I was, he was kind of like, yeah, this makes sense. So
is he a big volleyball dad now?
Still learning, but yes, yeah.
We talked to a couple football players. It seems like people that play basketball, some of that footwork transfers over into sports. Have you found that growing up with a basketball background has played into you as a volleyball athlete?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's helped my lateral movement, because there's like a lot of shuffling in basketball, and so I think that's one of my better skills in volleyball, is I'm able to move one side or the other a lot faster or smoother than some others.
I saw you posted a picture. You were, I think, was it a karate, taekwondo?
Oh yeah.
On your Instagram?
Yeah.
So basketball not the only sport you did growing up?
I did karate for 6 years, and then this past semester, to kind of stay in shape, I actually took up kickboxing too.
Oh,
so
wow.
That brought a little refresher from the olden days of karate back. So
how'd you get into karate?
Something my dad did when he was younger, and he was kind of saying, like, it's going to help you with your footwork if you do decide to play sports later, and it's also good to know self-defense as a kid, just in case,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you break all the boards and stuff?
Trying to. I didn't have much muscle back then, so that was a little tough, but yeah.
That's awesome. So when you come here and you start kind of getting involved with the team, how did you approach, knowing you knew a few players, but knowing that you needed to kind of get in and get to know these players, how did you approach coming into this team?
Honestly, felt like a freshman all over again. I was kind of like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I'm the new person on campus. I don't really know where anything is, don't really have somebody to come in with. So it was a little bit tough, but some of the girls kind of saw that and were like, we want you to be a part of this team. Like, we're happy you're here. So that definitely helped out a lot, just knowing that they genuinely wanted me to be there. So
you graduated, degree in communications.
Mm-hmm.
What's your goal now, education-wise here?
So I'm actually doing a graduate program. It's called the Applied Science Program, and it's more of like a entrepreneurship type of thing where you build your classes towards whatever career field you want to do later in life, or if you want to create a business. And so as of right now, I'm kind of thinking I want to create a business. And so because I have really big feet, and I know a lot of women in the volleyball community do too. So I kind of want to create a company that caters to women with big feet. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you already have designs in place? Sneakers, high heels? What kind of shoes?
I was kind of thinking the whole 9 yards,
that's
but
amazing.
Got to get somebody with an artistic eye to help me out a little bit so that I can kind of translate my designs a bit easier.
Are you into fashion then?
A little bit. I got my own style, I think, so I don't know if anybody else would like it, but I got my own thing going, yeah.
What a cool idea. Was there, I mean, I know having big feet, but was there a moment that you're like, hey, this would be something that would be cool to do?
Just kind of the fact that I know it's hard for me to find shoes. I wear men's shoes most of the time, so it's more of a need that I think needs to be addressed, so.
And then what about, the NIL opportunities here? How much has that been exciting for you to tackle here?
Yeah, that's definitely super exciting. Nothing in the works yet, but hopefully I'll get a little something going, so yeah.
Was that something, though, that was attractive to you, being that, you look at the Final Four, for example, and a lot of the top NIL athletes for volleyball, like 4 of the top 6 and 6 of the top 10 came from Nebraska. Was that appealing to you? Is that exciting to you, knowing that Nebraska volleyball is supported really well here?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but we didn't really do anything like that at Penn State, so it wasn't a top thing for me to have. So definitely a benefit, yeah.
But being that you want to get into business, it has to be the opportunities that you could build around that.
Yeah, for sure. That would definitely help out a lot. Mm-hmm.
So when you think about, you played here and the crowds that were here and how wild it got, how exciting is that to know that you're going to be on Team Nebraska and inside in front of this crowd this year?
It's super exciting. I mean, I know how I feel or how I felt when we played here. It's just an incredible atmosphere, and one thing I like about this crowd being on the other side is they cheer for just good volleyball. So regardless of if it was Nebraska scoring, if it was a long rally and maybe we won the point, they would still cheer, which was super awesome. So I'm excited to be on the opposite end of that and have the cheers regardless, but I'm super excited.
What was your favorite atmosphere to play in that wasn't Penn State?
I'd probably have to say here.
Really?
Yeah, just every time we came, the crowd was full and lively, so that's definitely very appealing.
Well, you're playing for a legendary coach in John Cook. You just played for a legendary coach there at Penn State. What was it like playing under Russ Rose and just learning from him for those 4 years?
I think the main takeaway that I have from being coached by him is just always giving your effort, 100% effort, even when you think you don't have anything else to give. Go after every ball, and yeah, you play for the ones around you. So
what's your goal? What do you hope to accomplish while you're here in a Nebraska uniform?
Yeah, obviously a national championship would be pretty sweet. Big Ten championship would be really sweet as well. But I really want to fall in love with the sport again. That's kind of a main goal for myself. Be the best middle blocker that I can be and be a great teammate. So those are my goals.
I love it. Love it. Well, we're so excited to have you here. Thanks for spending some time with us. I know Husker fans are stoked you're here in Lincoln.
Thank you.
All right, got to take a quick break here on Sports Nightly. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Keep it here.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Don't miss out on any of the action as your Huskers take the field at Memorial Stadium this fall. 2022 Husker football single game tickets are on sale now for as low as $60. Want to get in on even more of the action? Upgrade to a customizable Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $180. To purchase your 2022 Husker football tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Go Big Red.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers fans, this Friday, join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. In this week's episode, we'll hear from Huskers track and field high jumping star Jenna Rogers, Nebraska Associate Athletic Director of Academics Dennis LeBlanc, and new transfer guard Maddie Kroll with the summer basketball update. In Hour 2, we'll talk to new Nebraska Offensive Coordinator Mark Whipple, followed by new Huskers Volleyball Hall of Famer Christina Hotelling, and new dual sport freshman Maggie Mendelson, who gives us an update from Huskers Women's Hoops summer workouts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Woodhouse at Lincoln offers more than just vehicles. Steeped in tradition, Lincoln customers are offered 100 years of car building excellence, insightful technologies, luxury interior amenities, and benefits of the state-of-the-art showrooms and service departments. Convenient pickup and delivery, and an online buying experience that can be done anywhere. The simplicity of purchasing and owning makes shopping the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer an easy choice. Explore how Woodhouse Lincoln can change your drive today at woodhouselincoln.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid minerals with protein or Redmond natural mineral salt for livestock or humans, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blahorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
At Great Western Bank, they are committed to your community. With all the local decisions and personal attention of a hometown community bank, they also have the convenience of a bigger bank. It's the best of both, so you can bank with your neighbors and your friends. Great Western Bank wishes all area teams a safe and successful season. Great Western Bank, member FDIC.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska researchers are designing the next generation of roadside steel barriers through an industry partnership with Trafix Devices. This partnership has produced the Delta Crash Cushion, a simplistic, effective way to keep drivers safe on highways. This barrier is vital for roadside safety and significantly improves the chances motorists will be able to walk away from roadside collisions.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you on a Wednesday night. What a terrific interview. What a terrific young lady. Man,
Yeah,
she is
impressive.
really impressive.
Yeah, and just, you know, her thought process of wanting to design a shoe company that tailors to women with big feet, because it's hard for her to find shoes. But another thing that I found fascinating was that NIL didn't play in a factor at all in this day and age. That there was not, and Nebraska volleyball does NIL unlike anywhere else in the country, and so you know that didn't play in to her decision at all to want to come here, because that's so much of what you hear around the country is the NIL is playing a big part of it. But I mean, it was a position that they needed to add, you know, somebody there. And so, yeah, I think she's going to be, and you can already tell how well she's fitting in with this team. And I took had to edit it down a little bit, but she knew Nick Lynn-Ames and Kinsey Knuckles, played with Kinsey on a USA team and played against Nick Lynn. And so there's a little bit of former relationships there, but yeah, she's fitting right in. There's no doubt about it.
If there is an entrepreneurial spirit listening to us tonight, and you like to get involved in that type of things, that's a great idea that she has. There's got to be some kind of way to get that launched while she's here in Lincoln. That's a fantastic idea that she has.
So cool. And because there is a market for it and a need for it. And that's what she's like, I'm not even necessarily into fashion. There's a need for it. There's a lot of women that have this same struggle. So, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Good for her. She's going to have a big fan club in a hurry with the way I know she's going to play for this team. I think there may still be a few tickets left for the red-white scrimmage coming up on the 20th of August. I think they're standing room only ones that are left, but you might check in the ticket office if you've not gotten those and want to go out and support that team on the 20th of August for their red-white scrimmage. That'll be here rather quickly as we move along. Also,
they're having a fan day too.
They are.
Yes.
And it's that same day.
Yeah.
Earlier that day, they'll do
Which
an
is
autograph
cool. I don't
session.
think they did a fan day. But I
they
think
usually sign stuff after the scrimmage.
Yeah, but I think COVID was kind of getting crazy again at this time, so they didn't do anything like that. So that's back this year. They're going to, I think it's earlier in the day.
Yeah, I think it's before the match. A lot of times they'll have done it after the match, but I think it is before the match. We'll certainly get you updated, folks, as we get closer to that. It's still just a little bit over a month away. We're still offering the customized Husker football 3-game mini plan on sale now for $180. You get to pick a game from 3 groups. In September, either North Dakota or Georgia Southern. October, Indiana or Illinois. November, either Minnesota or Wisconsin. Seating located in the south and north end zones. You put the plan together. Go to Huskers.com/tickets and put together your own plan. You mix and match which games work for you. And so still some available in that category for you. 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question. We'll take our final break of the night, come back and wrap up the show next.
Don't miss out on any of the action as your Huskers take the field at Memorial Stadium this fall. 2022 Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now for as low as $60. Want to get in on even more of the action? Upgrade to a customizable Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $180. To purchase your 2022 Husker football tickets today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Go Big Red.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no place that treats you like home like Sap Brothers. For 50 years, Sap Brothers has fueled America's heartland and been a reliable partner to local farms and Husker fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment and welcoming guests into their travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
It's more than a Lincoln, it's your Lincoln. Custom order your next luxury SUV with Woodhouse Lincoln today. Choose from the full range of Lincoln models and curate every detail to your deepest desires. From exterior color down to each accessory, our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will guide you to your next vehicle. Begin your custom order journey online at woodhouselincoln.com.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. It's the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres. Solutions for every field. 402-413-2400. Still time if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. We are 7 hours away from coverage from the Open on USA Network at 3 a.m. So if you wake up tonight, you can flip on golf in the middle of the night. I think Tiger Woods is going to have an impact this week.
I think he will too. I think he'll hang around. I don't think he'll win it, but I do think he's going to make it fun to follow because he'll be there and maybe stick around there those first few days. You gotta pick for a winner?
Well, there's a lot of guys that are playing really well. Xander Schauffele won the Scottish Open last week, which is, of course, similar to what St. Andrews is. So he's playing really well, that style of golf. The Open lends itself to older guys competing because you have to think your way around, that it takes away a little bit of the physical nature of the course. That's why I think Tiger, because he knows how to play that style of golf, keep the ball low, the wind's always blowing, how to play the humps and bumps and the little bounces. That's why. So somebody like that, Rory loves playing over there. Rory will probably be in the hunt. This is going to be fun. I like this.
I might go with Dustin Johnson.
Ooh, you're going to have one of the live golfers win this thing.
Yeah.
That would really light people up a little bit.
I think that would be hilarious. I think it'd be fun to watch the drama unfold with that.
I do too. And, I don't know if we mentioned it yesterday. You and I talked about it off air that the Department of Justice is kind of poking around. They feel like maybe the PGA has overstepped their bounds, kind of threatening some of these guys that if you play for there, we're going to do this to you. And so it's really messy. I don't think it's really good for golf and the whole thing, but I don't blame these guys. Somebody's going to offer you a bunch of money to come play golf. Why wouldn't you do that if you're a professional golfer?
And to still be able to play in the majors.
Right.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. It upsets people. They say it's funded by blood money from Saudi Arabia. But 9/11 was 20-some years ago. How long did we hold the Japanese for bombing Pearl Harbor? I don't want to get too political, but at some point you got to.
Well, and I think there's so many layers to it too, and we've talked about this, and I have a friend that's a caddy on the tour, and just there needs to be some changes.
They do.
To the PGA Tour, there needs to be some changes, and there's been nowhere else to push that change, and you can't.
They had a monopoly, really.
So and they need to give more of the revenue to the players and look out for. There's a lot of different things that the players are also hoping that could help benefit the game of golf, and it's easy for guys that have made it at the top and have been around and made a bunch of money for them to say things and have a bunch of endorsements, but for some of the younger guys coming up that have to fight tooth and nail and scratch and claw to get their way into making some of that money, wherever the money's coming from, I think a lot of people feel internally, they might not say it publicly, think that this could be good for the game of golf.
It starts at 3 a.m. tonight, the last major of the year, because they moved the PGA a couple years ago from August to May. So this is the last big tournament of the year for the golf calendar. They do have the FedEx Cup playoffs coming up in about a month, and those are fun to watch too. A lot of money on the line for that, so it'll be fun. And they're at the home of golf, St. Andrews, the kind of the first main golf course in Europe. Is where this one is this year. Should be a lot of fun. Our Sports Highlight Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy online at woodhouse.com. We started the program talking about Bryce McGowan's having a great day today in the Vegas Summer League. 24 points, by far his best effort out there. And I want to end by saying that there's a new edition of The Place coming out tomorrow, and it revolves around Bryce, the NBA draft. Coach Hoiberg is going to have an appearance in this thing. This should be good.
Yeah, it follows his journey to the draft, and Coach Hoiberg, they put out a teaser on Twitter, and Coach Hoiberg says, it's so great to hear your name called in the draft. My name was called during a commercial break. So it's pretty funny. It's going to be cool to see. I mean, again, such a nice kid, was so great to work with over that last year, and only wish him the best. So just to see, throughout the day, what that nerves look like, and being there inside, before he heard his name called, it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolded. Because you sat there and you watched it, you saw pictures, but to see him actually live it that whole entire day is going to be fun to see.
Well, it's a special moment in any athlete's life, and I've said this before, what I really appreciate about both Bryce and Trey is how much they enjoy. I know they enjoyed their time in Lincoln. They gave back to the community. They did things while they were in Lincoln, and I really appreciate that they kind of immersed themselves. And even though Bryce only knew he was going to be a one-year guy, he still, I think, took full advantage of the college experience.
Absolutely. He was so invested in the community. You saw him out and about and doing a lot of things. You know what else? This piece that's coming out that's focusing on him going to the draft, it's a huge recruiting tool as well. So
no doubt.
They're going to be sending that out to recruits. Hey, look at this guy. He played for us for a year, and he's playing in the NBA, making his dream come true.
Well, we've got the Raptors are playing their summer league game, and Delano Banton started tonight. It's back-to-back years that Fred Hoiberg's had a guy drafted in the NBA draft. Not many schools can say that. Probably only a handful can say that they've had
Isaiah Roby, even though he didn't play for Coach Hoiberg, but he came here and is now doing big things too. And so, yeah, it's good for recruiting when you can say that.
Very good. Tomorrow night, Travis Fisher, defensive backs coach, as we continue our position breakdowns as we inch closer to the start of camp for Husker football for the upcoming year. Thanks to Tim, to Cole, and to all of you for listening. Have yourself a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse at Lincoln offers more than just vehicles. Steeped in tradition, Lincoln customers are offered 100 years of car building excellence, insightful technologies, luxury interior amenities, and benefits of the state-of-the-art showrooms and service departments. Convenient pickup and delivery, and an online buying experience that can be done anywhere. The simplicity of purchasing and owning makes shopping the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer an easy choice. Explore how Woodhouse Lincoln can change your drive today at woodhouselincoln.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. During the summer of 2021, 3 UNL students helped safeguard cattle across the state. Neely Anderson, Tatiana Jones, and Ashton Commons developed secure beef supply plans that prevent the spread of disease outbreak. The plans protect nearly 850,000 cattle across our state and provide greater economic security for this vital industry.
Save with low price lockdown from Hy-Vee. We've locked down prices on hundreds of your favorite everyday items. Prices are locked down for months and months on major leading name brands. The products that you like, the products that you want, and products that you'll want to stock up on. And all of the prices are locked down until we unlock them and lower them even more. Low price lockdown. Deals you can't